I love this assignment. It's annoying. A lot of people really don't like it, but it is really good for getting you guys to figure out how to build content in an essay and to actually get deeper and to reach that analysis level. So the main issue so far that I'm seeing for you guys is that some people are reaching outside of the ad and covering things that aren't in the ad, or they are agreeing with the ad. These are like the two issues that if you're missing the mark with this, it's going to be with one of those two things. So to help you out, think about when we first talked about Bloom's taxonomy. So you see all the steps. When you finally get to analysis, we talked about how it's breaking it down into its constituent or elementary parts. And then I said it's kind of like the food analysis on the wrapper. The analysis depends on the question that's being asked. So with the cat reading that we did, there was a moral question asked, which made it so that your analysis, you were analyzing specific things so that you could get to an evaluation that answered the question. Well, similarly, so you're not going to be opinionated with this. Your opinion is not actually going to be in this, although it could look like it. I guess I should give you the example. Remember, we touched on DJ Khaled. I have to say it like that, so I don't say it like the regular way. So if we're going to use him as an example, I don't want to give it away, really, but everything's an advertisement, like everything. Everything is an advertisement. I don't know how I can say that any clearer. Everything in life is an advertisement. Trying to sell you something. All right, you try to sell your parents things all the time. Oftentimes you wrap it up really nicely, but it's bullshit. And then other times it's like, I brought you your money's worth back in A's. I don't know. You've got a long way to go in life. Just you have so much ahead of you. That wasn't me trying to insult you. That second part wasn't me trying to insult you. So if we're looking at him as an example of an advertisement, it would be opinionated if you were to say he's an advertisement of how to be a piece of shit. But you could say that he's an advertisement for making objectifying women cool and acceptable. This is an argument that you could objectively make through an analysis of whatever he has presented to the world. Your opinion doesn't have to be in there. Now, it's obviously telling that objectifying women isn't cool, but you don't have to say that. You don't have to bring that opinion out. You just have to say that that's what's happening. And if you think about this in the context of where we're going with how this influences society, it'll make it a little bit more clear on where your analysis needs to go. So nutritional facts, that's the question being asked by this food analysis. What is the nutritional value of whatever is in the wrapper? For you guys, what's in the wrapper is what's in the ad. So it's kind of nutritional if you think about it. The wrapper goes into the ingredients, nutrients, calories, etc. For you guys, you have 3 questions that I'm asking you. What are they trying to sell you that can't be bought? If you're selling the product in the ad, if you're like endorsing them yourself, then you're having an issue with answering this question. Whether what they are trying to sell you sounds like it's a good thing or a bad thing, whether it's a good thing for the environment or society or whatever, or a bad thing, understand that they're using this to sell you a product. So it doesn't matter if they are actually doing a good thing. Don't get on board with supporting them. And then any ridicule that you have for them should really come off as just presenting it in an objective way. But understand, everyone is trying to make themselves look better than they really are. So let's say they're doing something green, they're trying to be helpful to the environment. So anytime they're trying to make themselves look good, they're trying to build on ethos, make their credibility stronger, make you like them as a company. The thing is, anything that they actually do, even if it's them donating money, they'll say a percentage of whatever we make off of this product goes towards helping adopt puppies out or clean up the environment or plant trees or something like that. When they represent themselves as doing something better than they actually are. So remember, they don't tell you the percentage of the money that goes to it. And if they do, numbers can be skewed. So anytime they're making themselves look good, they're trying to make you think that when you buy their product, you will be better too. So you doing that is helping save the world. The problem is, if you think that you simply buying their product is helping the world, if they make you think that you're doing more than you really are, then you'll be less likely in the rest of your life to actually give a shit or give more. You're going to have that feeling in the back of your mind where you're like, no, I am doing stuff because I buy Burt's Bees or Nature's Way something. Do you guys get it? So like, is that doing good for society when they misrepresent how good they are doing for the planet or for your dog or for whatever? So understand this. This is for me to try and get you guys to not get sucked into it. Also, you can use this kind of thing to explain that last part, what's being perpetuated in society. You can use the ideas that I'm talking about with you right now to apply it. And a lot of you may find that useful. I'm not saying that they're bad companies and I'm not going to use their product, but that's something that you guys can develop your evidence into. The other thing is make sure all your evidence comes from the ad. So no going out and talking about what it's necessarily relevant to in society. That's not in the ad. If it doesn't say it in the ad, then you can't use it as evidence. You can talk about stuff in society for that third question, how it perpetuates, but these first two questions and answering those come straight from bringing up the evidence in the ad. And then you connecting that to that last question. When that happens, you're now reaching analysis. First, it's just summary, really, apart from your topic, sentence, claim, which has the claim about what they're doing, right? You got to support that claim with solid evidence in the ad. And so each body paragraph should go to the point where, let's look over this. Now, if you're having a hard time, if you're like, but that was all the content in my essay talking about this other aspect that's not in the actual ad.
So just to clarify, we cannot use research information outside of the ad, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This is all about trying to force you guys to do analysis here. It's a pain in the ass. I know it. I know it's a pain, and I know you're like going to curse me under your breath for it, but it's all to force you guys into that. It's also the same reason why you guys aren't allowed to use like a Super Bowl ad. I specifically give you guys one single sheet of paper ad. See, if it was a Super Bowl ad, you'd have so much to work with that you wouldn't be able to focus in enough. And it would just be all about summarizing the thing. Your summaries should be very brief. The only thing you're summarizing is what's in the ad that is specific to your claims. So you better not have a paragraph that is just all summary. The reason why you're not having an introduction in this is because most students try to bring their evidence out in their introduction. Don't do that. You don't want that. Just give me the thesis statement and then start your body paragraph claims to prove that thesis statement. And in the body paragraphs, that's when you're going to unload your evidence. Only bring up the evidence when you're going to use it. Otherwise, if you say it in the introduction and then say it again down here, you're just repeating yourself. That's going to be redundant and it's not going to be a good use of your space. So, I mean, if you look at it as a formula, you've got a topic, sentence, claim, bring in your evidence as soon as you've made your claim, right? So explain the evidence as much as you need to. So first is probably going to be describing whatever's in the picture, or it depends, right? Only bring up the evidence that you need for the claim in that paragraph. You're probably going to have evidence in all three paragraphs. You should. And depending on how you organize that, it's going to lead to developing this out fully. So it doesn't all have to be talking about sex appeal. It doesn't all have to be logos. It can be switching it up. It doesn't have to be one of each. It could be all sex appeal or whatever. It could be all objectifying. It could be all working off the beauty standards of society, but they can hit you from multiple angles with that, or they can reverse it on you and make you think that they're empowering women when really they're forcing women to wear high heels. High heels are not empowering. High heels make you slower. You can wear high heels if you want. There's nothing wrong with high heels, but I'm just saying, like, there's some weird things going on with feminism that are oddly deceptive, and guys are like, yeah, I'm down with feminism if it means that. Yeah, feminism, I'm all for it. Do you get what I'm doing with my hands here? Throwing money, right?
Make it rain.
Yeah, exactly. I did worry that I was going to get canceled, like as if that would be a thing. I'm nothing, for one thing, so it doesn't matter. I was thinking maybe I'd get fired for some of the stuff I say, but then I realized so long as I keep the videos over 30 minutes, no one's going to watch it. So unless one of you guys, no one's even going to care. I'm a community college professor who's trying to help you guys not get took by the world that's just been screwing you over, practically brainwashing you from childhood. I mean, if they've been doing it to me this whole time, they've been doing it to you too. They've just gotten better. They've gotten even better. So much so that people my age get brainwashed all the time, including me. Like, I'm constantly getting brainwashed. Sometimes I'm brainwashing myself. That's why you guys got to check me too. So, all right. Yes. You don't have to hold back though. You can let me have it. I'm not going to get offended. And it might help everyone else as well as yourself be able to get deeper into what we're doing here, because I'm not trying to convince you of my own viewpoints here. I'm not even going to give you my own viewpoints for a while, like my major viewpoints intentionally. I'm not trying to teach you to think like me or to think what I think. I'm trying to teach you guys how to think, like give you the skills to think so that you can completely disagree with me on like anything. That's not going to lower your grade or anything or make me think less of you as a person. Like that even freaking matters to you or anything, right? The only way you're going to be able to survive college and be able to write anything of substance really is going to be if you can think critically and then articulate those thoughts well for someone else to be able to understand you and not misrepresent you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's already hard enough for me to not misrepresent myself just in talking, but when it comes down to writing, you should not ever have an issue with articulating it because you get to think about it, you get to write it out and compose it and organize it, go through drafts of it so that your reader should not be able to like misconstrue your words. People will still do it anyway. It's whatever. For this, seriously, it is the hardest thing to do to figure out if you're going deep enough with analysis when you first start writing. So keep asking yourself questions like, how could it be possible for what they're saying to be a lie or misleading? And then the other way, how could what they're saying be true? And oftentimes it's in the middle there. They can't completely lie to you because that would be false advertising, but there's wording even that they can use. Like when they say virtually, do you know what virtually means? It means not real. So if you say virtually clean or virtually spotless, it means it's not spotless and it means it's not clean. It just is virtually clean. See how there's like language that you can use to misrepresent stuff. And you could look up, there's a pretty cool reading PDF somewhere on the internet of it where it's called Weasel Words, and it's all the kinds of things that advertisers use. But you can figure that stuff out on your own. You don't have to read a whole nother essay for that. I try to limit that stuff. Like the extra essays that I put up there for like optional readings are just if you're like really stumped on stuff. But still, you don't want to even get like tangled up in what those readings are saying because I'm asking you different questions here. I mean, you could talk about, it's funny how they'll take the same product and they'll advertise it differently to men and women based off of the social standards, and the men are supposed to be like this and women are supposed to be like that. All of it's there. And does a woman have to be like that? Does a man have to be like that? Is this perpetuating that stereotype? There you go. Work that angle with your essay. It depends. But if you think that women have to do this thing to be beautiful, that's utter bullshit. Like a woman doesn't have to wear makeup to be beautiful. You can feel beautiful wearing makeup and you can choose to wear makeup, but you don't have to wear it to be beautiful. What the fuck is that? Like that is bullshit. Where did that come from? Right? Well, they didn't make it up. It's like a long train that's just been going the whole time, and they're just hopping on board and using it so that they can sell the product because they're leveraging your pressure to fit into society. Yeah, makes sense. You guys already knew that stuff. You guys were like super woke in like middle school, right? Because you have Snapchat and TikTok and you were dabbing on the haters in middle school, right? Remember that? You don't dab anymore, right? Please tell me you don't dab anymore.
I don't like to talk about it.
Oh man. But that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to see you guys pick out of the ads to explain how they're actually pushing that in society. So we talked about the good things, feeding your pets better food. Is kibble ever going to be what your dog should really be eating? Let me ask you that. So if it's dog food, they act like it's just straight up raw meat that's been magically turned into kibble. But like dogs are supposed to eat meat and bone. They're scavengers. So they either kill something or they eat what other things have killed. And their diet is pretty much like 80% meat. Same with cats, apex predators. Kibble it doesn't matter how good the kibble is, how much you paid for it, it's not going to be at all that same thing. So I feed my dog raw meat maybe 2 times a week, and I feel bad. I just can't afford to feed her raw meat like the whole time. So I do pay for one of the like more expensive kibbles. It's still kibble, but they're like trying to act like this is you actually feeding your dog the best thing. Like even if they're better than the other company, the bar is set so low by that other company, that them being better than them is like, okay, so you're better than Hitler. You're a good person because you're better than Hitler. That's not what you should have as your standard for good. Once again, that's getting into evaluation and you're just on analysis here. So don't go that far with it, but you get what I mean. I do want to talk to you guys really quick about the actual structure of your essay. Thesis on its own. Don't do multiple spaces in between, but just like in its own paragraph and then indent in the next paragraph. The reason why you're not attaching it to your first paragraph is because your first paragraph needs to have its own topic sentence, which is kind of like a thesis, but with a smaller claim, right? And it doesn't have to say everything about the ad. You guys already knew that your thesis statement needs to actually tell me the ad that you're using. Be as brief as you can with it, but it's an ad for what? Right? And what's in the ad? You could say it very quickly without giving your evidence. So like a Burt's Bees ad that tries to bring people back to nature, something like that. Boom. In a Burt's Bees ad from 2017, if it says like whatever information you have to be as specific as you can without dragging it out, because it's still in the same sentence, it's in your thesis statement, right? But you have to specifically point to which ad it is and then bring your claim in and then your reasoning. So for your topic sentence, it really just has to be a claim. We already know what the ad is. So you could just say in the ad, now that we already know the ad. So that's one thing students do with repetition is they say things over and over and over again when they don't need to, or they write the whole thing out instead of using an acronym or something. That's not really applicable here, but just saying like you want to be as brief as you can with your summary and with information because you have so much you need to say here. It's only 2 pages. Don't think of it as like, damn, I have to drag this out for 2 pages. You're already coming at it wrong that way. You all have what it takes to like write out a well-developed analysis here. So at least 3 body paragraphs. Maybe you have a 4th point that you want to make about it. You will want to have a short conclusion. Just know that you're not restating your thesis statement in a conclusion. What? But that's what I thought it was. You're extending it. You're putting the ball in the reader's court. You're like, so now that I explained to you definitively, like without a doubt in your mind, because I gave you evidence from the ad and I made all these arguments, now that I've said all that, what are you supposed to do with it? That's what your conclusion's supposed to be. Doesn't have to be long. Could just be like 2 to 3 sentences. I'm really just trying to focus with you guys on representing your sources accurately and analyzing here. So let's say in each body paragraph. So these aren't going to be standalone points. Don't try to, say because this, and this based off of like how you did this in high school. You're trying to build an argument. So think about if the evidence that you're trying to use really develops out just how far they're going with it. Like it first looks like they're going with these like regular standards of beauty for women. By regular, I mean what society says, like women have to wear makeup or heels or, what sexy is or whatever. First, it looks like they're doing this here. And so you can be talking about that, but after they do it like 3 freaking times, like if you see it in 3 different ways, it's like, come on, there's no excusing it at this point. Like they're definitely doing that thing. It's without a doubt. If you can point to something from 3 different like evidences or angles, that's a pretty strong argument. Some of you guys might think, well, maybe I don't have enough angles to work with. You can use the same evidence to support like, well, it's hitting ethos in this way, but it's also hitting pathos in that way, going back. So even if you have a very simple looking ad, don't freak out. If you can see it work from both angles, you can use the same evidence in both paragraphs so long as you're talking about it differently. Any other questions on this?